Strap yourselves in, folks. We've got another new hero, and that means we've got another new video. I know I skipped on Kale, but the matchmaking was horribly messed up at the time, and Kale was also absurdly overpowered at launch due to some interesting ability interactions. So I just kind of gave that one a pass. But with Johanna the Crusader here, we have the first Diablo support. No, wait, she's actually a warrior. Because they've somewhat changed their mind. But I've got a great game to show off here with her. It was really back and forth. It's not a curb stomping, but it showcases some of her strengths, as well as ending with the enemy team making the classic blunder. So let's get right into it, shall we? Here we are on the Tomb of the Spider Queen. This is my team here, obviously. I am currently using the second tint for her, because it makes her look like a Sister of Battle from Warhammer, which is just awesome. The enemy team had some minor issues with their Jaina disconnecting early on, but it didn't cause them any real problems, and they put up a grand fight. It could have gone either way up until the end. At level 1 with Johanna, I picked out her ability to gain block charges. Unlike most block talents, it actually builds up differently. Instead of just accumulating them over time, she gains a block charge every time she uses one of her abilities. She can still only hold 2 tops, but she can build them up much more quickly than your average character. I also have a completely different build for her if I need to be aggressive and cause damage, but with the team we had here, I was reasonably sure that they could capitalize on openings I made, and built Johanna to be highly durable. If you build her offensive, she's about like your average specialist in terms of pushing and aggressive power. She's never going to be an assassin. But she can clear merc camps very well, if built for it. Illidan here pretty much dictated my entire gameplay style for this match as well. The player clearly knows what they're doing with him, and they built to be able to engage, since he was their only real engager. Since we have a moment, I'll go over her abilities briefly. Her Q is a 180-degree swing in front of her, with a very short range. It slows all enemies hit with it by 60% that decays over 2 seconds. So if for 1 second, while it's dropping down to 30, it's a very solid slow, and it just kind of falls off after that. Don't think too much of it then, but it is a good slow, and it's a sweep. I keep having to help Diablo out, because he is just not good at solo laning. It's a bit unfortunate the lineup ended up the way it did, but I can wander back and forth as needed. Her W is Condemn. That is the move she just used right there, wherein a circle sucks in everything. The level 1 talent that lets her do a lot of damage basically causes it to do bonus damage and a long stun to minions and mercenaries. But regardless, you're going to be using it a lot, no matter what you build. Its cooldown is 10 seconds, but at level 4, pretty much no matter what build I'm using, I take the talent that reduces its cooldown by 75% of a second for every enemy hit with it, up to 7-second reduction. It's basically, it doesn't let her spam it, but her mana costs are fairly low for a character, so she doesn't run out as nearly as fast as you might think she should. Yeah, if you build her to not die, Johanna is very difficult to bring down. She won't be doing much damage to anything, though. Her W is a... or not W. Her E is a cone blasting out from her shield that causes all enemies hit to be blinded, missing their next 2 attacks. It's exceptionally useful, really. Damage on it is decent, and the range is very long. You don't want to use it at point-blank range. You want to be back a bit so the cone will actually catch a cluster of enemies. Her 2 ultimate options. And I'll get to that when we get to 10, I suppose. For now, at level 7, I will be taking a talent that causes her passive to cool down slightly more quickly for every time she uses an ability. Her passive is an active that gives her a damage shield and makes her unstoppable for 4 seconds. And unstoppable is exactly what it sounds like. She cannot be crowd controlled by anything. And here we get our first set of web weavers off. Not much really happened with this. They managed to pretty much just keep them in check. I think the cost got up to like 70 for each of us before this match was finally over. Yeah, them having Malfurion on their side really gave them a lot of sustain out of the map. Just look at that Illidan not caring at all. I'm unsure if Asmodan there meant to laser Diablo or if he misclicked, because it would have made more sense to me to just blast him away, blast the spider away, but it went down quickly enough. Aside from when they came up top periodically, not much happened from Tassadar and Vala for most of the match. Not saying they did a bad job, they certainly held things up very nicely. I just didn't see much of them. You gotta delete that Malfurion or he's gonna be healing things. I'm really not sure if him flipping over me actually gains him any benefit. I know why he's doing it, because it makes him unstoppable while he's in mid-flip, but it just sets him on the side of me, which was what I was trying to do with Condemn in the first place. But given how Illidan plays, it's probably a reaction in general to any attempts to crowd control him. Nice, now we're level 10 and have ultimates. For this match, I took I took her ultimate. The second one, which causes her to throw her shield, it stuns the first target it hits, then bounces to 2 other targets, prioritizing heroes. I took it primarily because Illidan has to be locked down, or he's never going to die. Her other ultimate is similar to the Elite Tauren Chieftain's stage dive, except it basically has a much shorter range, smaller area of effect, but you can aim it by just moving once the targeting circle appears. You move around at your normal movement speed, and when you land, you knock up everything in the impact zone. Bella is not the best person to have a blind against since she shoots so quickly, but it still does help, especially combined with the block charges. We made him ult to escape at least, but I don't believe that actually did us much good in the long run. He was able to burn down the construct pretty well. We had actual tanks, and they had a specialist. So he's just doing what he did. I tried not to get too frustrated with how the game started going at one point. I said a couple non-profane things that were kind of aggressive in chat. But I think they actually worked, or at least the second one did, because it was complaining to Diablo about how he was knocking things around. And he certainly came through for us in the end. I pretty much give credit for our victory to Diablo using his ult right. That's good 15 minutes away. Oh yeah, there I am. It does get frustrating to be built purely for defense and irritation, when the rest of your team just kind of waffles about with shooting. At level 13, I picked up a buff to the shield generated from my passive, and it also causes the cooldown to be reduced by 4 seconds if they break the shield. Jaina is really not in a good place versus 2 assassins with dashes. Her main method of escape is just slowing people down, so... What really can she do against people who can close the distance quickly? Aside from kill them. That holds true of any assassin. Alas, poor Tychus. I knew him well. Yeah, that was where I yelled at Diablo there about the whole knocking people away. And this is Illidan getting a bit too cocky. And level 16, wherein I picked up, what was it? I actually don't remember. Oh yeah, fanaticism. Gain movement speed when my passive is active and I'm being attacked. It's Diablo there. He's not listening to me because I'm a crusader. And I don't like Diablos. I've since started going with more of a shield thing there. She's got a talent that causes her shield glare to heal her for every enemy hero she hits with it. Because while the movement speed is cute and all, it doesn't really do much for her survivability. It will come up on one case where I'm able to run away from Asmodan because he's got a laser on me while my shield's up, but... And there, that was pretty much why I took the shield. I knock them all around, get them grouped up, and they have to scatter. I rather like her overall, not just because she's good at what she does, but because she has options. She cannot do everything all at once. You can build her to be highly aggressive, like I said, specialist level combat and pushing power. By at level 1, taking her bonus minion damage thing. Level 2, you just keep up with the conviction. Get battle momentum, the burning aura ability that makes her on fire. And at level 16, you pick up the move that makes her have a hammer spinning around her like she does in Diablo 3. But if you do that, she's not nearly as durable as she could be. I'm not sure how we didn't get those mercenaries tagged. Yeah, I should have been aware that Asmodan was doing this. But at the same time, there's not much we could have done to stop it, really. Poor Jaina. I caught her with kind of a reflex shield because I figured Illidan was going to be closing in with her. So she just got torn apart. Oh yeah, there's where I'm able to run away because he was just constantly focusing on me. Look at me run! What did I take for 20 on this map? I think it was... yeah, it was the shield. Upgrading her shield throw might have been a better idea. It doubles the stun duration and lets her stun basically the entire enemy team. Changes the target number from 3 to 5. What I did instead was I got a talent that it's basically her version of what Resurgence of the Storm used to be, except less absurd. Once every 2 minutes, when she takes lethal damage, she gains a shield equal to her maximum health. It lasts for 4 seconds, so she'd best get out of there or finish what she was doing. How many did that Vala have, anyway? About 10. Ah yes, the boss fight. The epic boss battle with an NPC, because this is what you've all come here to see. It's probably a bit of a waste to keep using Condemn on that, because it doesn't do any real damage to it. But hey, it got it done more quickly. While we were busy doing that, they got their web weaver on. Much of anything happened down there. Oh, got it. They took down Diablo. Illidan did his Illidan thing. Malfurion started healing just too slowly. Tychus did not want to give up on Malfurion here. Of course, for anyone looking at the mini-map, you can see the problem here. When did I ever get around to turning these in? Hey me, turn in those gems. It's kinda quiet right now. I was busy dealing with them. I didn't notice how little was going on anywhere. I do love how she looks like a Sister of Battle with that armor variation. I don't think I even really want her mask. Oh, this is where it all went bad. Yeah. Basically, I missed Illidan with my shield, and Diablo missed him with his ult too, so... he was able to be a good tank. There's my max health shield. There goes my max health shield. Yeah, Diablo here, he kicked ass. There's no other way to say it. Kept those things all busy, and even dealt with an annoying druid at the meantime. But this isn't where I give him credit for winning the match for us. He gets better. Johanna's auto attacks are strong but very slow. Diablo is actually pretty dangerous in melee. They gave him a buff to it recently. Are we getting to the good part soon? Not for a bit yet. That was never gonna hit, even if Illidan hadn't dashed. At least there, Tychus learned not to chase them, because they are good at flanking him. My living there, I kind of attribute to them not knowing how Johanna works exactly. Yeah, there I am, getting the heck out of dodge. Though I do end up being killed as a result of this. There was just nowhere for me to run. Pretty much, Vala could have dropped me down there to 1, triggering my shield so it would wear off sooner, but it's not understanding how heroes work. It probably would have gone slightly differently if Johanna wasn't as new. And here they just farm up the last few they need to get their spiders off. Oh yeah, this wasn't the fun part. I forgot this happened. Asmodine has an absurd amount of health, but he really does not move very quickly. Watching Diablo walk through those caltrops reminds me like when Sideshow Bob was just stepping on all the rakes. All of the rakes. I think part of what happened is we started to get a better sense of what each of our members does when we go into a combat. Because the other team was more organized overall from the beginning. That's right, Tychus, stand in the magical healing ward. Tychus again, but then he was our main damage output and they knew it. Or one of them. What was Vala doing? Does that show up here? 0 damage. No, Valor was better. Okay, maybe he was just easier to get at then. In any case, he was one of the two people on our team doing real damage. You know, while I missed with that, I still consider it a win for a couple reasons. First being, it would have pulled him farther away, and that would have been bad. And second, it kept him there. Just by its being used. We're on the final stretch now, though. I think once Malfurion gets up is when the big event happens. It's a prime example of how one big mistake can end the game, when it's otherwise kind of back and forth. I always wonder how much health these things have. Does it tell me here? It does not. The core is not under attack. A structure near the core is under attack. What are you talking about, game? Granted, their Jaina didn't have any better luck than our Tychus did. Go, Diablo! Burn them all with the flames of... Wait, I'm a Crusader. I shouldn't be saying that. Ah, yes. Going for the giant. Golem. Scorpion. They really shouldn't have started it when all of them weren't there. That's about when we realized what they were doing. You just stand on that circle and you do not leave. Yeah, how to throw. Attempt boss. More attempt boss when the enemy team is all up, and you don't have anything actually keeping them from coming and getting you. When we got the boss, they were a bit busy mid. They had other things to deal with, but there was nothing really stopping us from coming and getting them there. And that was my Johanna game. If anything looks slightly better, it's because of the new rig. It doesn't actually affect all that much, aside from some effects, and making it a lot easier to spot cloaked people. I feel sorry for a Uratoh I faced in one game. Well, that's all for this. Later, everyone!